that this nut is becoming more than just a snack. It's helping the country crack open a new source of energy. Take a look.
Cho Dramé has been farming groundnuts, commonly known as the peanut, on the west coast of the Gambia for 55 years.
Before the rainy season begins, we clear the fields, burn the dry grass, wait for the rains to fall, then we bring the seeds to the farm and start planting. Growing groundnuts in Gambia was started by our ancestors and passed down to us.
Cho has passed down the tradition to his sons and grandchildren who help run the farm. Today, it's the West African country's main export, with around 70% of the Gambia's labour force employed in groundnut production. Most of the nuts come from small-scale farms like Cho's 5-hectare plot.
I have about 20 hectares, but if I had good machinery, I could have grown groundnuts all over the 20 hectares and it would be more profitable. We do not have the machinery we need. Some of us rent machines from other farmers because the machines are not enough for us all.
Harvests have also been hit by less rainfall in recent years. The Ministry of Agriculture and the World Food Programme estimated that 520,000 people were affected by the 2011 drought.
During the drought, the rainy season was short. Because of that, the groundnuts were not ripe, so we did not have any seeds. It was the government who got us the seeds, brought them here and shared the seeds amongst the farmers.
The farmers' principal buyer is the Gambian government. Around 150,000 tonnes of groundnuts are processed daily at the National Processing Plant, 5 kilometres outside of the capital, Banjul. The groundnuts are prepared by shelling, with approximately 180 tonnes of groundnuts exported every week. The rest is processed into crude oil and expeller cake for animal feed.
40% of it is exported as raw kernels to various traders in China. In the past, we used to do a lot with the markets in Western Europe, and we have started last year again, exporting again to Western Europe. France and Italy, these are the two main Western countries that we export the crude oil.
Between 2008 to 2014, Gambia's Ministry of Agriculture estimated a $22.8 million loss in groundnut exports. That's due to the presence of a toxic fungus called alpha-toxin associated with liver disease.
Now there are stringent measures for the importation of groundnuts from this part of the continent into Europe because of the presence of aflatoxin in groundnuts. But we have started a program 2 years back which is mitigating the presence of aflatoxin in the groundnuts. By doing so, we will be able to reposition ourselves to export mainly to Western Europe.
With those new measures in place, the focus is now on diversifying groundnut production by 2020, starting with a $30 million overhaul of this entire processing plant.
We want to bring in other products, byproducts from the groundnuts. That's what our aim is. We want to bring in briquettes, which will also have an impact on the environment. It will mean that the felling of trees for charcoal will be of the past, and to feed a cogeneration plant, which will supply electricity for the entire complex, and the surplus we will pump it to the national grid.
Essentially, that means making biofuel out of the groundnut shells. According to private energy company Greentech, more than 10,000 tonnes of groundnut shells are dumped as waste annually. The Gambian company has been processing the shells into biomass briquettes since 2011.
Our product, which is the compressed briquettes, are basically meant to replace firewood. They have the same burning characteristics like wood. At the moment, we are working more on the household level to try and target the household use, simply because we have lost most of our forest cover in this region. The Sahel belt is very close by, and everyone relies on firewood and charcoal to cook with, at least 80%, because they're not wealthy enough to buy gas or electricity.
In the last 2 years, GreenTech have expanded production to neighbouring Senegal, working with energy company Yakar.
Initially, all the shells and briquettes were made from Gambian shells, but Senegal was a much bigger market. I now know that they have about 400,000 tons of shell waste per year. This is, there's so much shells that you could actually tackle a whole area.
With groundnuts widely grown across West Africa, GreenTech plans to expand briquette production across the continent with the aim of saving the environment from further deforestation. Eleni Jokos, CNN.